talk. I can't talk. Hey guys, what is up? It's Sam. Here's from Snakes on Sam, and today I'm talking all about the cool frog that I got from the Pomona Reptile Expo. I wasn't really planning on getting a frog or any specific animal. I did have a budget of $50 that I was adhering to. I mean, you know, maybe if you go a little higher, a little lower, but I tried to, and you know what? I did it. This was a really busy show, and I haven't yet had an opportunity to check out some of the reptile vendors that were there this year. So I was so excited to be able to see them in person and see the awesome animals that they had. One of the animals that I really wanted, but was a little bit out of my $50 budget, I mean a lot out of my $50 budget, was a rain frog. Those are the coolest little frogs in the world. They're known throughout social media. They're fun to watch, and they're so quirky. It was so tempting to get one, but I did stick to my budget, and I said maybe next time. So instead, I ended up taking home a really cool, unique reptile, or amphibian rather, that I absolutely love. I've heard of them for years now, and I've been looking at them for a while. They're a big frog that is terrestrial, so they hang out on the ground, and they're pretty colorful, so it's really, really cool to watch them grow up. Now, they're supposed to change colors as they get older. I'm not sure how that changes in time. I'm not sure if the juvenile age it will change that much, but it's really cool because I'm excited to see him grow. He's pretty young and he's super cute. I ended up getting a Solomon Island leaf frog, and this guy is super yellow. He has a really cool pattern to him actually. So some don't come with the little dots or the lines on them. He happens to have some really cool patterns, and of course he has those signature eyelashes that make them so cool looking, as well as this little tiny snout. He's super comical and he's really active and happy. I've been having a great time watching him since I brought him home. I'm gonna start him off in a smaller enclosure than I want to actually keep him in, just to see how he acclimates and be able to keep it really clean, because I was reading up about these guys and how this one in particular, the yellow variations, tend to be more sensitive to bacterial loads. So I don't want to make anything too large that doesn't let me do a deep cleaning very frequently. Now this is the container I brought him home from the expo in. This is not what he's staying in. He's not going to be in here, I promise you guys. I'm going to show you the enclosure shortly. But I just wanted to kind of equip it with a lot of humidity, with the moss, and then also with a little container for water, because I don't know how long he's been at the expo drying out. I don't know how often he was missed. I don't know when he was last missed. So I want to make sure he has enough water to really get a lot of humidity, a lot of water within him, because apparently these guys dry out really, really quickly and really easily. As we know, most frogs have a tadpole stage, right? So they start out swimming and then they become a frog. It's a whole process. This guy did not. He skipped the tadpole stage, which is really, really weird. So he went from being a little tiny popping bobo, little egg, to going on and being a full-fledged frog. I guess that makes sense why they're not very good swimmers, because they don't have any reference for it. But they are pretty cute though. Isn't he like the cutest little dude? Like, he's just has a little attitude. He's so hyper. He's so energetic. It's awesome to watch him. And I'm excited because I'm gonna be keeping him right here in this glass enclosure. Now, this one's about 5 gallons or so. It's a little bit smaller maybe. I'm not sure. It's like not standard. It's curved and everything, but about 5 gallons. It's long, and he needs that because he's terrestrial. So he doesn't climb, he doesn't go on tree limbs, he stays solely on the ground. In fact, I read that they don't want to put tree limbs in there or any type of like high decor, because they're kind of crazy and they might like jump off and hurt themselves. So you want to keep everything kind of pretty low to the ground. It also gives them more space on the ground to do their thing and enjoy life. This one particularly has a glass little lid that has a gap in between the sidewall and the top, so then there's still airflow. It keeps him in. Hopefully when he hops, I'm kind of worried about that actually. When he hops, I'm not sure how high he hops. I watch him in his little container right now and he's kind of like jumping around a little crazy, but I don't think he has the ability to like get up these sidewalls, but it is thin enough so I don't think he can like get through very easy. Obviously no sticky little feet, so you don't have to worry about him crawling through things, which is really cool. So I'm excited to put him in here. This again is where he's gonna be for a little while until I watch him, make sure everything goes well, because he is pretty young. I think he's around 3 to 4 months old. So this enclosure is gonna let me clean it really easily, be able to put it and do a deep, deep clean, put in the sink type of thing, and just wash it regularly. I'm gonna start off underneath just with paper towels that are moist, and then put some moss on top, and that will kind of let it be really humid in there and also make it a lot easier to just, again, deep dive into the cleaning, because he is a little bit more sensitive and that he might not last as long if I do not keep this clean. So that's a really important step, especially with frogs, because I don't know if you guys know, but These guys are considered indicator species in biology and ecology. So when it comes to frogs, they actually absorb water through their skin, and that's how they drink essentially. You're not going to see them like licking up water like a gecko. And because of that, they need to have really clean, really fresh water because they're taking in all those toxins and elements that whatever is in their enclosure is gonna be inside of them. So it's just so important to make sure that you keep frogs really healthy, really clean and all that. I'm worried again because he's young, so I just hope that, you know, I'm able to do the best job I can to just keep him healthy and everything and just kind of do the best job with him overall. In terms of food, he's going to eat mainly anything smaller than the size of his eyeball. So that's a really good way to kind of figure out when you get a new animal if you're not sure what they eat, is just in between their eyes. I got some crickets. Unfortunately, the crickets were a little too big. They're like a 1/4 inch. They probably should be more pinhead size. That's comfortable for him. But I got them, and I think from what I can tell, they're gone, so I think he ate them. I'm gonna try to get some pinhead crickets. It's a little harder to get them because you have to go to specific reptile stores versus bigger box stores, and I was just out of the area at the time at Pomona Reptile Show. It's about a 45-minute drive for where I live, so I just grabbed some crickets really quickly so I have something, because with baby frogs, you want to feed them more frequently. When they're babies, you want to feed them like every day to every other day. When they become a little older, you just want to go ahead and feed them maybe every 2 to 3 days, just because they have a tendency to getting a little fat. I mean, if you've looked at Pac-Man frogs before, you see them like they're little chunks sitting in moss. That's all they do. They don't move. They just sit there and eat. So you get it with frogs, how they're just a little bit of a chunky bunch. So I just want to make sure that I don't overfeed or create any problems in that way as well. It's also important with frogs to dust them with calcium, or their feeders, not them. You don't want to dust your frogs with calcium, but dust their feeders with calcium to make sure they're getting all the nutrients and calcium that they need, because they are nocturnal creatures. They don't really need the UVA, UVB lighting as much as a diurnal animal, but it's still kind of one of those things that people either are on one side or the other of whether or not an animal needs UVB, UVA if they're nocturnal. Why not? If you have the bulb, if you have the budget, do it, because you never know. I mean, every animal experiences some type of sunlight when they live in the wild, so why not try to recreate that in your enclosure, give them some of that healthy UVA, UVB. That's my philosophy. I don't know. It's one of those things that there's 2 camps and you gotta figure out what camp you're in, but that's my camp. Just why not? Just do it, because how could it not be healthy for them, you know? It's natural. I'm looking forward to this guy. If you guys have any questions, or if you have one yourself or any experiences, maybe you have one that started out yellow and turned red, let me know. I'm interested because I really can't find any information about these guys in terms of that. I should have asked the breeder, but I didn't. Maybe I'll shoot them an email. Who knows? But I would like to know what this guy's going to turn out to. Not that you can tell and predict the future, but we'll see. I'm excited to see how he changes and his personality. And because this guy gets like, you know, they get, if it's a girl, it'll get a certain size. As a boy, it's a little smaller, but it's going to get like 2.5 to 3 inches possibly. And so he's going to be really cool. I'm excited to share him with you guys. Awesome. Well, if you guys have these frogs again, or if you know someone that does, or if you want one, comment below, follow me. Let's go through this journey together with this cool new frog. I want to hear your comments. I want to see you guys back here, and I can't wait to share his progress and his growth with you, and maybe share some things I've learned about them along the way. Awesome, guys. Talk to you soon.